This is the Great Legend, and I am coming at you live with my first impressions of Sex. Sex, by Image Comics. Issue number 1. Right here. Look at that cover. Sex. What does it say? First issue, collector's item. Image Comics. $2.99, baby. I like that. $2.99. Man, if only Sex was that cheap. Haha, yeah! So this is Sex. This is a cover of our guy here, our hero. Simon Cook, I think's his name. At least I hope it is. I just read the thing. But anyway, it looks like he's chilling in his old, superhero hideout. He was a superhero. Armored Crusader, I want to say it is. Or something like that. He had a chest plate that kind of looked like a knight. Yeah, so anyway, he used to be a superhero. So, he comes back to his city, Astro City, after about 7 months of being away. A sabbatical, if you will, is what his lawyer buddy was calling it. He comes back. No one really knows what he's doing back. Everyone thinks that he's just back for show. They don't really know that he wants to give the civilian life a go. He made a promise to an old woman. Can't remember her name, but it didn't look like it was his mom or grandma because he called her something different. So maybe it was a maid. Batman or Bruce Wayne has Alfred. Maybe this lady was like maybe his maid or the woman that took care of him as he grew up, an orphan. I don't really know. But it's very similar to what Bruce Wayne would be like if he left for a while and then came back a little older and didn't want to fight anymore. So that's kind of what it reminded me of. Really, I don't know why the title is called Sex. There was kind of a sex scene in here between two women to let off some steam or, to kind of clear his mind or think and thought. He went to one of those little places where you view like girls do things to each other. So the screen opened up and these chicks were, doing some sexual conduct, if you will. And he wasn't really paying attention. He was just kind of sitting there thinking and doing the flashbacks of what this old lady was telling him, to get out of that superhero stuff, to live your own life, Quit trying to worry about saving the city and save yourself. Worry about yourself. Do things for yourself. So the chicks get mad and they say, hey, you gonna do something, asshole? Or are you gonna jack off or whatever? Anyway, so he just keeps sitting there. But then all of a sudden the thing shuts and this woman comes in and says, the women or the people aren't supposed to talk to the clients. And then he finds out that the woman that was talking to him must have been like the owner of this sex joint, and either she was a supervillain or a superhero, but he knew her superhero name and her real name. Her name was Annabelle. So that's where it kind of left us at a cliffhanger. Mainly this issue was him coming in on the chopper, coming back to town, getting reacquainted with friends. We did see one of the villains in this story. His name was Old Man, is all I really could pull from it. And he was looking pretty old and stuff. He's kind of an older villain, and he thinks that the younger villains are trying to take the city or, take some of his territory or whatnot. So, typical villain kind of thing going on. But our guy here, Simon, doesn't look too worried about how the city, some parts of the city have gone to hell. It looks like he's keeping that promise into that lady, and we'll just find out what happens in Sex number 2, what that relationship of the woman at the very end who came in to talk to him saying that, they're not supposed to talk to the clients or whatnot. So I didn't give much away of this story. It was good dialogue, good writing, good artwork. The sex scene, I think they needed to have it in this book. I mean, if you're going to call the book Sex, I think you need to have a sex scene in each issue. And like if you want, if I don't even know who writes this stuff. Image Comics doesn't have an author on there. But hey, you know, if you want, throw a couple sex scenes in there. I mean, you know, tie the viewer in. I mean, yeah, do some new things. But I thought this was a really good issue, and if you're not picking this up, pick it up today. I was late on it, and my comic store was sold out, but from a comic store in Austin, I was able to get like 5 copies of this book. Yeah, so yeah, I thought it was a pretty good issue. All my copies are near mint, and they're all in Mylar, so I've already got them ready to go, bagged and tagged in Mylar. And maybe one of these days, if they're worth a lot of money, I'll send 4 of them to CGC, get some 9.8s. So got a lot of that, and it was a good, it was a good comic. I mean, I won't find out, you know, how good it is until I get more issues in, but I thoroughly enjoyed the comic, and I think you will too. This is The Great Legend, and I'm coming at you live, and thank you so much for listening to my first impressions of Sex Number 1 by Image Comics. Fans, have a good evening. This is The Great Legend saying peace out, God bless.